Hello everyone and welcome to our Game Week 18 preview show. I'm Chris and Kieran is here too. Hello Kieran, how are you?
Hello, I'm not too bad. Looking festive today, clearly.
You're looking and feeling festive. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, absolutely. And only a few days to go until, the big event, the Game Week 18 deadline and obviously Christmas Day as well. Uh, let's have a quick look back to Game Week 17, before we talk about the hot topics in Game Week 18 because it's been a bit of a strange game week because it's still going on,
Yeah. Well, Luton are sort of like tweeting stuff about like next up is Newcastle at the weekend. So assumably they're not going to be playing again this week. So there's kind of no reason for it to still be open at this point. But,
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just going to come down to a decision on what they do about the points. I kind of feel like they're just going to leave it as it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Yeah, 6 points would probably be fair, I guess. Yeah, I don't think they should get
Solanke, you mean?
Yeah. 3 points bonus, I think, would be kind of unfair because we know nobody knows what else would happen in the game and stuff like that. So, yeah, 6, I'm okay. if that is what happens, then so be it.
Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's quite hard to judge for people that would be having auto subs from that game, and they may still change it like an hour after we finish recording, but it seems to me like the most sense now would just be to leave things as they are, really. But anyway, let's talk about our points in general then. Do you want to start because you ended on 65?
Yeah. So I in the end I did Haaland to Watkins, brought him in, and then I took a hit for cash to Porro, which I didn't really need to do in the end. Obviously Porro is up on the hit, of course, but I could easily have just played the double Newcastle and had no hit taken. But Porro is good for the long run. You said last week about Spurs' insane run, so, and he's obviously returning at the moment, so obviously happy for that. 65 altogether. That obviously the all clean sheets of the back line, which basically never happens. Right. And then Palmer's haul, which was nice. Watkins finally getting something just about towards the end. And basically all my expensive players pretty much doing nothing. So it is what it is, but I'll take it.
I was a bit regretful on the captaincy after Salah blank, but when you look at the fact that the other big contenders probably for the armband that week or last week was probably Son and Saka against Forest and Brighton at home. The fact that they both sort of blanked as well. Saka obviously got that assist and then it was removed. I think it's not too bad because I don't think I would have captained anyone else really, so I don't really have any regret about that.
Yeah, I was close to Alvarez captaincy-ish. No, I wasn't, to be honest, but I was obviously had the vice on him, and he nearly scored in the first minute, and then he obviously had that disallowed goal from the offside from Rodri, which is another day he could have done a bit better, but it's what it is.
Yeah, and it wasn't too different really. So I did 2 moves. I still had Mbuemo in my team, and I was on the fence about what to do about Cash and Anderson, and perhaps we'll talk more about Haaland in a bit, but I decided that if I thought he was going to come back for Game Week 19, I didn't really want to take another -4 to get rid of him. I absolutely would have had Gordon if Howard hadn't flagged up that he was an injury doubt, so went for Hwang instead, which I'm quite happy to have him still because I like him, but I think Gordon would have been my first choice if I knew both were fit, and I just wanted to do something that week because obviously we've got a blank and it would have just been another transfer. So the hit I took to get Hwang and Porro in for in the end Mbuemo and Anderson paid off, and I was pleased obviously initially that Cash had come back into the team, obviously then just to get subbed again and maybe not play so well, so still feel like he's a bit of an issue, but otherwise the team was okay. I'm still going to get a juicy 2 points off the bench when the auto subs kick in, but otherwise it was pretty uneventful week. We've sort of trended back to have similar teams again now, I think, where they're quite close apart from a few things.
I think it's just because of selling. Well, you've obviously still got Haaland, but I've
Yeah.
sort of caught up to the other sort of picks, I guess. Um, just I guess I think I heard or saw on Twitter earlier that apparently Haaland, De Bruyne, and Doku are not going to play any part in the Club World Cup.
That's interesting.
So that means Haaland's probably more injured than we thought.
Yeah.
So
It'd be worth picking your brain on that now, actually. And um, yeah, I saw obviously all the training stuff today because their game kicks off in like 6 minutes from now, doesn't it?
yes,
He's not on the bench. I've seen they've had the training pictures released. De Bruyne was in them, but like Haaland was nowhere to be seen, and he's obviously not made the squad tonight. So yeah, I'm thinking that even though I'd planned to roll this week, so just to get like your some thoughts on this as well. I still don't think it's probably too late to get rid of him because I think now he's probably still going to miss 2 games. I can't imagine he's going to come back.
But does that mean just missing the Club World Cup games?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I just think I don't know. The way it's sort of come out today. Like you say, I heard that news as well. Is they're not going to take any part in it as well as he doesn't want to be risked, and maybe they are more injured. How much training is he going to be able to do, and all that reintegration into the squad, and also that Everton and Sheffield United game is like 3 days apart. So I think that brings up a whole new lens. But perhaps we'll talk about that more at the end, because I think I'm probably in the minority of players who were active, who probably kept Haaland this week because we had a lot of transfers out.
Yeah, fair. Let's talk about that later, I suppose, with the transfers to our teams.
All right. Let's kick off. Let's talk about the big game of the weekend. It's Liverpool against Arsenal. It's essentially a top of the table clash while City are away in the Club World Cup. And you and I, like I mentioned a minute ago, are a bit disappointed that Salah blanked at the weekend, and we'll talk about captaincy perhaps on the back of this. But it's another big game where a lot of our assets are involved. I'm going to have at least 3 in this game. You're probably going to have something similar, I would have thought. Yeah, with Salah, Saka, Gabriel.
I have Gabriel, Tsimikas, Salah, Saka, and Darwin. So I have 5.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know, it's
2 defenders as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
isn't it? It's an interesting matchup from an FPL point of view as well, because it's like one of the last games of the game week, and I think a lot of rank is obviously going to be based on the outcome of this one. But just to chat a little bit about players who are performing well and potentially getting some Trent in our team, and looking ahead a little bit to when Salah and Son go to the Asia Cup, and whether he's worth a long-term hold from now. I was having a look at his points, and you and I were both like totally down on Trent for the first 8 game weeks of the season, when he wasn't doing anything like what he was doing at the end of last. He had 18 points between game weeks 1 and 8. Since then, same amount of game weeks between 9 and 17. He's got 69 points. So that's nearly 3 and a bit times better in the same space of game weeks. And I don't know if we could really foreseen this. Like, the fixtures, I think, have probably been slightly better, but 4 of his 5 returns he's got have come in that second block of 8 games, and I think his ownership is still relatively low. I think he's still under 20%, probably just because of his price. But do you think he should be, well, for players like you and me that don't have him, is he almost getting towards priority essential status at the moment, that it's worth mashing the team up? I'm sort of comparing him a little bit to Saka at the minute. I feel like they've similar-ish price points, and I think I feel like the upside is always going to be there with both of those players, and I wonder if it's getting towards a time when you could consider him an alternate to Saka in a squad.
Yeah, I mean, the fixtures aren't as good as they could be, or have what they have been, I suppose. So obviously Arsenal this week, then they got Burnley, but then Newcastle at home is obviously always tough. And then they got Chelsea as well after Bournemouth. They got Arsenal again. So yeah, that sort of short term from like end of December, January is not amazing. So I think unless you're really bullish on him, I mean, for me, I'm just still avoiding. I'm fine with Tsimikas getting 6 points. So hopefully most weeks that he plays. If Trent's going to get clean sheet, hopefully he gets it as well.
But how much longer can you have Tsimikas for? Isn't Robertson coming back quite soon?
I yeah, I don't know on that, to be honest. But yeah, he is someone who's going to have to go soon enough. But yeah, if Haaland is out for a long time, and obviously Son and Salah going, then Trent and Trippier and the likes of those guys can easily come into our squads. So at the moment, I'm not too worried about it, because I will be able to just change funds up in the near future. So yeah.
No, I just 16% ownership when I had a look just a moment ago, and you know, I think I've definitely been guilty of overlooking him and just didn't think this run would sort of yield these type of returns. But he's proven he's been a top player for us from FPL seasons past. With you wouldn't even consider like not putting him in your team, and this season I think probably because of the pricing structure he's been one we've sacrificed. But I think he's only roughly about 12-15 points behind Saka. He's nearly $1 million cheaper than him. And if you compare him, like if he was listed as a mid, he'd be the 6th highest scoring, and he is playing like one at the minute. So when you look at that, 8.2 million isn't too bad to justify his returns. So
yeah, and there's Gordons, there's Palmers that are helping to be able to get to him, I suppose. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah, if you want to go for him, go for him. And if you don't, I think there's reasons to not do it as well. So.
Yeah. So we're talking more about Liverpool and this game, and probably Darwin's a good one to talk about next, because you'll probably want to rant and rave about him. But so he's only completed 90 minutes once now in the last 5, benched in one of those. In his last 6 game weeks, he's got 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 5, and I think there was just 2 assists in there. Yeah. He doesn't feature in the top 10 for strikers XG over the last 5 game weeks. I imagine you're so sick of him, and you probably haven't just had a transfer to get rid of him.
Yeah, pretty much that. I've just. Yeah, it's not like Watkins really outscored him over the two that I went for him instead. But obviously I bought Watkins in last week and scored, which was fine. But yeah, he just looks like an absolute non-factor on the pitch. Probably just like Dalot probably should have got sent off for dissent. Yeah. So like after he got the first yellow card, I was like, oh god, he's riled up already. I thought pretty sure he was gonna get another one. And Klopp's probably taking him off at a normal time just to stop that happening, obviously. Yeah, he's barely taking shots. He's like, he just seems to miss every chance he gets anyway. So yeah, I think he may end up staying if like the EFL Cup this week, if Gakpo starts and Darwin's bench, then I may end up just keeping him again, just because it'll be nice to roll this week if I can. So otherwise than that, like maybe it's not too late to get onto Solanke for I think it's
Forest away. So Forest, they've got like the new manager balance to contend with.
Yeah, but Forest. Yeah, exactly. I'm not too worried about that. So, and obviously, yeah, Bournemouth, Solanke scored. Bournemouth still look good. So there's that option. But it's this the type of game where he'll absolutely troll me and possibly score against Arsenal. So Yeah.
Do you expect him to start in this one? Like
I said, if Gakpo starts in the EFL Cup, then I think Darwin should start. But I imagine Klopp's getting pretty sick of him not doing anything too. So
absolutely. All right, just a little bit finally, perhaps on the Arsenal defence before we move on as well, because I think it's. I mean, do you predict it going to be quite a close game? This one, I kind of think it's going to. Again, I didn't expect the United game to be 0-0, but after it was, I kind of feel like this one has the potential to go the same way, because it's going to be, a top of the table clash. Neither are going to want to lose anything to their rivals. I kind of think it's going to be low scoring. And when Arsenal's defence, their 7th clean sheet in the league this season, that's the most. But when they, turn up away at Anfield, it's obviously going to be a difficult game to keep a cleaner. But I feel like they could get one here, and then their run after this is just so good. It just makes me think that double defence for Arsenal could be a way of, for me anyway, of finally getting off Matty Cash, and they're giving some, good options there. I mean, West Ham after this at home, Fulham away, Crystal Palace at home, Forest away, Liverpool at home again, which you'd back them in, West Ham away, Burnley away, Newcastle at home again. I think that's such a good run of fixtures, and I don't know, have you given any consideration to the double defence?
I was pretty close to it a few weeks ago when possibly selling Cash for a hit. Obviously ended up getting Porro last week, but in the 2 weeks that I would have took him out, took cash out. Obviously, he got benched, but the 2 weeks they conceded to Luton, conceded 3 to Luton, and then conceded to someone else crap after that. So yeah, so the double defense for that week would have been pretty horrific for the rank, especially taking a hit for it. So yeah, going forward, I think it's fine. Like you said, their XGC is first across the season and first over the last like 5 weeks as well. So yeah, they're looking solid, but obviously I'm not expecting a clean sheet for either team here, really. I mean, maybe Arsenal could, but you know, I would rather not have Salah blank. I'd rather get points from, but I don't know, maybe I would be, because like is the majority going to captain someone like Watkins? The majority might still just be on Salah. So yeah, a blank from Salah might be nice, and a clean sheet from Gabriel could be good. Set piece threat, I guess. Yeah, hard to tell.
Well, I had no expectation that Liverpool were not going to score. I kind of thought they'd easily score 2 or 3 against United, and the fact that the fact that Manchester United, in that sort of dysfunctional state they're in at the minute, managed to, you know, the team was a bit of a mess, but they pulled together, put in a decent performance while conceding a lot of chances. If Man United can do that, and you know, Arsenal's shown what they have done this season from a defensive point of view. Like Arsenal, I think it was something like Brighton had done 32 Premier League games in a row, scoring at least a goal, and Arsenal finally shut them out. So, true. I think there's a lot to be said for their defence, and Rice has made such a huge impact of that. So, yeah, I could see it being another 0-0. So, yeah, a bit jealous looking at you with Tsimikas as well as Gabriel.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad for me with Darwin, Salah, Saka blanking as well. Yeah, obviously that's just a product of just the blank happening and just owning the good assets in the game, I suppose, and just happen to be on the blank game week facing each other, which is not ideal, but not much I can do.
It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Do you want to give me a score prediction then for that one? Because I think I'm just really looking forward to it.
It's maybe like who's at home? Liverpool, right?
Liverpool,
1-1. Let's just go 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds boring, but
it does sound boring. Can't be any more boring than Man United game at the weekend.
Yeah. True.
Dull. All right. Let's talk about what would you like to talk about next? Do you want to talk about one of the games this weekend or captaincy?
Yeah, we'll go to Villa, Sheffield United. Yeah, because obviously Watkins is a captain option for most this week. 8.6 million now, 46% owned. When I wrote down the notes, I'm sure that's probably gone up by now. You see Sheffield United at home on the fixture list. People are going to start buying. So he's not exactly on form at the moment. But he did get back to scoring versus Brentford. Despite his 2 blanks in a row, he's actually been the highest scoring forward from game weeks 13 to 17 on 28 points, which is interesting.
That just shows how like a dearth his forward category is. He had 2 blanks and he's still the highest scoring.
Yeah,
like quite a short game week span, like 6 game weeks.
Shots 14, 2 big chances, XG of 1.5 over like 6 weeks is not ideal. Key passes of 6, big chance created of 1, and XA of 0.34. So the stats aren't looking as good as they have been for him. He's the 3rd highest predicted scorer of 5.9 for this week, which I think is kind of hard to believe, especially with the matchup. And he's behind Salah on 6.5 predicted points, and then Son at Everton at home on 7.3 predicted points. So Son predicted the highest points, which is a surprise too. He's had an average of 6.35 points per game across the season, which is obviously good. That would be decent for a captaincy return. Only 3 times though has he hit double digits in a game week. And only 3 times has he got multiple returns in a game week. So the odds are that he's probably gonna get maybe 1 return, not a haul. A goal and 3 bonus would be an 18-point captaincy, which would be fine. I mean, especially with obviously Salah facing Arsenal, Son against Everton, who Everton are playing well at the moment. Like Watkins probably on paper probably is the best option.
It doesn't fill me with confidence for some reason.
No. He left it late to last week to score, and I bought him in for Haaland thinking, oh God, maybe this made an absolute huge mistake. But I think you've got to sort of back the fixture. Like Villa's home form is amazing. They
yeah.
haven't lost at home for I think it was about 23 games. I think I saw. Yeah, they've won every game at home this season. So yeah, his EO or effective ownership is probably going to be close to about 150%, I'd say, with the captain this week. So if you're not captaining, you're definitely going to want it to blank. Okay, so another player who's probably catching some people's eyes is Bailey at the moment.
Man, I talked him up, didn't I, last week? And again, I didn't get him because he had that flag and he got some returns.
Yeah, 2.4% owned and 5.6 million, so another cheapie around the Palmer price. Yeah, game week 13 to 17, he's had 10 shots, 0 big chances, which is obviously not great, but an XG of 0.74, 6 key passes, 2 big chances created, and an XA of 0.79, and he's got 2 goals and 2 assists from all that. So he's overperforming. Yeah, but decent, obviously, numbers considering his minutes that he's got. He's got 62 points, which is actually only 6 behind McGinn, who's basically played every minute this season. And he's only 12 behind Diaby, who's started pretty much most of the season. He's on 4.13 points per game across the season.
Pretty good.
7 points average per start, and then he's got 9-point average per 90 minutes. So yeah, if he starts and gets 90 in this, you're looking pretty good, I think. So, and then also tweeted from Villa themselves, a goal or assist every 62 minutes in the Premier League this season.
That's great.
Which is great. Yeah, he's had 616 minutes compared to the most of the midfielders, which is 1492, which is Kulusevski. And Kulusevski only has 15 more points. So, yeah, if he gets more than 45 minutes in this game, he's returned in all of them so far that he has got more than 45 minutes. He's also come off the bench and returned 4 out of the 8 times.
Wow.
So he's done obviously more than Diaby lately and in less minutes. I think if he's fit enough to start, then he should start.
Yeah.
And I think he's obviously going to be a good option this week against Sheffield United, who obviously are trash. So, yeah, if you really want a gamble on him starting, then I like it. I think he's a good option this week.
Yeah, their defense still hasn't got a lot better. This is Sheffield United since Wilder took over. I know they've got that win against Burnley, but their expected goals conceded in the 3 games since he's taken charge is still around the 3rd worst in the league, and their attacking output is also shocking. I think it's their 2nd worst after Luton. So he hasn't given them a huge lift, and I think you're right. If you look at that squad, there's not really much there, and I think as well with I know I spoke about Bailey last week, and it is obviously frustrating that he isn't getting the minutes, but Villa's fixtures and the fact that they are doing so well in I think might be wrong, but if they win this because they play before Liverpool and Arsenal, obviously they can go top. So
they can go top, yeah.
That's a hell of an incentive as well. Yeah, I obviously like the Villa assets this week, and I do like Bailey as well. And I did think as soon as I saw that he'd got a return and Hwang hadn't, I was just like, oh, it's frustrating. But he only ended on 3 points, so it wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah, he's going to be a hard buy. Obviously, just because of minutes, he hasn't been nailed, and he probably won't be. So, yeah, Diaby is still there, with the X-Mins risk. So, yeah, like I said, if you really like him this week, then I think he is a good option. But yeah, Louis, what's it called? I was thinking David Luiz now. What's his name? Douglas Luiz. Yeah, he's back. Yes, but obviously Kamara is now banned as well. So that's another cog in their sort of system that's going out. And then Pau Torres, at the moment, he's 50% flagged to play, so we don't know about him. So there could be a few sort of rotation of core players to their squad at the moment in Luiz, Kamara going out. Tielemans wasn't in the squad last week. Don't know what happened to him. So, yeah, and with Pau, possible knock. We'll see, I suppose. But what
would you do with I've still got cash, and probably not many people have, and I kind of felt like he was going to get back into the team at some point, and maybe for the easier games. And
I did say that last week, and I thought he could get back into the team, and obviously that did happen, and obviously I did end up selling him. But yeah, he went off early again, didn't he? And you said he didn't play that well, so. Yeah, there's no guarantee he starts this one, is there?
He came off for Bailey, obviously got the return.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't think I'm going to transfer him out this week, but I do look at and Chat Sports just said in the chat, Cash should start now, given the Kamara got his red. So, he could do. And to be honest, I'd be more than happy if he started again and came off on the 64th minute. But if they didn't concede a goal, that'd be brilliant. I'd be very happy about that.
Yeah, of course. Yes, that would be nice. And obviously, they conceded against Brentford when most. Yeah, I would have imagined that Cash and Villa would have got the clean sheet against Brentford with no Mbeumo and stuff. So, yeah, you got a little bit unlucky there.
Yeah. No, definitely interested. Do you think Power's I know obviously got the injury. Do you think he's the one to go to if you want to keep this, keep him with this Villa defence?
Yeah, tough to say with his injury at the moment, but yeah, he is. He's been nailed on since game week 1. Played 90 minutes since literally game week 1, every minute. So he's the 12th highest scoring defender with 60 points. He's outscored Cash obviously in the time that everyone thought he was great and everyone got onto him, and outscored Dina, Konsa, all of those, like Cash, Dina, and Konsa are on the exact same points on 49 points. So and Pau Torres is on 60, so he's outscored them quite handily. He's obviously got goal threat from set pieces, and Sheffield United are historically pretty bad at defending set pieces. So if he's playing today, you'd think 6 points minimum at least, or today, sorry, on the weekend, 6 points minimum for a clean sheet at home, and then possible attacking returns. So yeah.
No, I like it. All right, what do you want to talk about captaincy towards the end when we talk about our teams, and maybe just jump onto one of the other fixtures?
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we'll talk about mention should we talk about Wolves and Chelsea a little bit, because that's the last game of the game week prior to Christmas. You and I both got Palmer. I've, like I mentioned, got Hwang now. So I'm, part of the reason this is so sad, but part of the reason I got Hwang was just so on Christmas Eve there's only one game. I've got 2 players playing in that fixture. I was like, that'll be quite fun.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how that comes into FPL stats and maybe not playing well, but, to look forward to a game, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's a nice way to... the thing about FPL, isn't it? Just you get players and get interested in games that you never would before.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, so... Game week 13 to 17 stats for the teams. XGC wise, Chelsea on 8.8, which is 15th, which is not good. But the Wolves on 8.5, which is 14th. XG for Chelsea 7.59, which is 10th overall, and then Wolves are on 4.79, which is 18th. So their attack has been down, obviously, since you've brought in Hwang and Cunha and stuff. Their XG has been pretty poor. Shots wise, Chelsea 59, Wolves 47. Big chances 15 for Chelsea and Wolves 7. So big discrepancy in sort of attacking threat here. Fixtures pretty much have been of the same sort of difficulty level for both teams. Chelsea more likely to keep a clean sheet here, obviously, but Chelsea's away form, they've had 3 losses in a row, and Wolves' home form is a draw, win-win. So the numbers say Chelsea should win, but the form from at home and versus away says Wolves should win. I
think it should be a good game.
It's a little bit difficult. Palmer, obviously, as we said, we both got him now. Hauling last week, which was nice. He's still kind of inconsistent though. He's been close to a bunch more returns that he's not quite gotten, which has been unlucky. But 23 points in the last 3 weeks. But does love a yellow card, so he's 1 away from a ban. Thank God he didn't get that this week, which was because it would have made it tough with the blank. He seems to get returns from low expected goal involvement. So versus Man United, he got a 0.07 XG, and then an XA of 0.03, but he got 8 points from that game. So he's on penalties, obviously on some set pieces now, and he's below 6 million. So he seems pretty much like a no-brainer right now. 21% owned is pretty low ownership for his value. I think if you don't own him, you probably should. And their fixture run is obviously great. And the next 4, Wolves away, Crystal Palace at home, Luton away, Fulham at home. Yeah, that's a juicy run of 4 really good fixtures. And Kunku didn't obviously play at the weekend, but he's probably due to come back in. He may play some minutes in the EFL Cup this week. And you never know, he could start this weekend with Palmer sort of feeding him as well. So hopefully they get a good relationship going. I think it's only going to go from strength to strength.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel Palmer's just been such a a diamond in his ownership has shot, but just because his returns have been so good. But he's performing like a player who is almost like a premium pick in that 8 to 10 million bracket in terms of points over the last 8 to 10 game weeks. So yeah, I know he's been sort of like inconsistent recently, but his numbers that he has put down in that time have been good. And I think because he's so inexpensive, like especially compared to Gordon, who's nearly 0.7, 0.8 more expensive than him, for I'd say probably offering less, but just because Palmer seems quite key to the Chelsea team, and like you say, he's on a lot of set pieces and on penalties as well. I just think he offers such good value, and he basically like unlocks lots of different options in your team. So yeah, I'm happy to have him. And I did look a little bit about whether it was worth doubling up with another Chelsea asset for this run, because it, like, starting from that Sheffield United game, it is so good. And I saw a lot of people took the plunge on Sterling, and then he got the 6-point return, which was okay, but I still feel like we're very much like still obviously waiting to see the best of him and Chelsea. I feel like they've got good assets in their team. Like I like Colwell as well. There's still quite like a cheap player or cheap option who's going to enable others, and especially during this run. But yeah, maybe Nkunku coming back will just unlock them even more to feel like I've got even more confidence in being able to captain a player like Palmer. Like Sheffield United at home was a cracking fixture for them, but maybe the best on paper last weekend.
Yes,
like,
true.
Never once did I feel like I'm going to captain Palmer.
No. I guess it's due to price, I guess. But you just see the 5.6 million, you're like, oh god, I can't captain him.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just the fixture. Anyone who plays Sheffield United at home should be considered a captaincy option, I guess. But yeah, Sterling, as you said, like he has been pretty inconsistent as well. He's had 2 pop-off weeks, which was against Burnley and Luton, and the rest he's had has been single returns, but most of the time he's been blanking. But his numbers are pretty woeful, to be honest. Not in the top 10 for mids, for shots, big chances, XG, key passes, all big chances created. So yeah, numbers-wise, Sterling is not looking good. But yeah, I figured like Nkunku comes back, probably plays. I mean, where does he play? Does he play for the take Jackson off, or does he replace Mudryk on the left? Like, who plays on the left? Maybe Sterling goes to the left. Palmer through the middle. Then who plays on the right? It's like, I don't know. Because Nkunku is like kind of like a false 9/10. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens there. Let's see in the EFL Cup game, because they might play a good team, because
they want to win something.
Potter said they want to win. Yeah, they want to win something, and that could be one of their best chances to get something. So
I wouldn't be surprised to see Palmer like moved out wide a little bit to accommodate Nkunku, but he's been so good.
It seems like a bad idea, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, because he's been so good playing centrally. So keen to keep. Is that tomorrow night they play in that, or is their fixture tonight? I can't remember which way around they've got it this week, but I know there's EFL games on.
I'm checking. It's tonight. It's against Chelsea at home. Against Newcastle, sorry.
That's right. Because I know there's a lot of complications about whoever progresses. We could get like a blank game week for Arsenal, Spurs.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I think if the draw, I mean, it's quite a few like layers of who does what, but essentially you could be looking at a scenario in game week 26 where Arsenal, Tottenham, Newcastle and Chelsea all blank, or all blank in the Premier League, because they'll end up playing each other. So it'd just be interesting to see how things progress tonight, and just have a key eye on the draw.
And then just on Hwang, your player, 2 blanks in a row now. Consistent returns are unfortunately no longer there. It seems like it most likely was a little bit of overperformance at the time, and now seems to be regressing to his mean. He got a 0.12 XG versus West Ham and a 0.04 XG versus Nottingham Forest at home. So those 2 teams you expect to probably be open games, because you think they both try and win those games. And his numbers have not been good for the past few. So you probably jumped on the wrong time. But hopefully he can get something here, because obviously Wolves have got good home form. So
I was stuck in a bit of a difficult place, really, because I really wanted to get Porro, and I had to have a player who was basically, Gordon's price or less. And like I say, I've already made the mistake this season once of buying a Newcastle player who Harry said is a doubt, and that was Botman, and ended up being out for months. And if I'd got Gordon and then Gordon had been out, I would have been not happy. So, Hwang's still got at least one more fixture in my team because I'm not going to sell him before this game week. So, and I would have had to have sold him anyway in like 2 game weeks time. So, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and just see if he can perform. But and also, how typical is it as well that, like I say, West Ham hadn't kept a clean sheet for like 10 or 9 game weeks and looked awful against Fulham, and then obviously I'm like, oh yeah, West Ham can't keep a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Hwang's playing out of position as a centre forward. There's surely got to be a return in there for him somewhere. So yeah, I'll give him Chelsea and see how I feel about him.
And obviously the clean sheet when Areola is not playing.
He's not playing.
This is classic. It's like Cash when he loses the position and Villa keep 2 clean sheets against Arsenal and City. It's just FPL just loves to troll us.
Oh god, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Just mention Son and Porro quickly just before we jump into maybe just talking about our teams and the captaincy. I was having a look at the numbers, and I think it's an interesting game because on paper again, Spurs Everton looks like a good opportunity for a Son captaincy this week, but it's still, I don't know why I just don't trust them enough. And I was looking at the numbers and seeing how Son has been performing and how that compares to Porro in the last 4 game weeks. Porro's actually matched Son for the amount of shots, or the same amount of shots in the box. They both had 8, which just jumped out, surprised me. Johnson and Richarlison both have also had 8, and Son has had 4 big chances, and there's obviously returned with that massive 17-point haul, but they're not too dissimilar. And I think Porro is, I'm just finally pleased that I'm on the bandwagon there. And, Everton as well, just some trepidation on why it might not be a good idea to captain Son, obviously coming on the back of 4 clean sheets. And their numbers do actually back it up. Their expected goals conceded in the last 4 games is actually the 3rd best record in the league, only bettered by Arsenal and Bournemouth. And I would say they've not had the best fixtures either. The Burnley fixture was obviously good, but in that time they'd obviously faced Newcastle and Chelsea and kept back-to-back clean sheets in a short turnaround there, and have kept the expected goals conceded column way down. So yeah, they've also sort of second best in terms of shots on target they've conceded. So they've been protecting the goal well as well, which you'd say that traditionally about a Sean Dyche side, and it's almost like that the points deduction is just like spurring them on to be trying to think how the best way to describe it, because before the points deduction I'd say the numbers made that sort of showed they were playing quite well, that they were always quite high for XG and XGC, but they weren't quite delivering returns, and something has happened and they've clicked and they've shot out of obviously that relegation zone. The 10-point deduction seems like a thing of the past, and they've just been playing really well. So some interesting ahead of that game to see how it goes, and I'm because of Everton's form and Son not looking great against Forest, I'm a bit reluctant to captain him. But
like I said earlier, Son is the highest predicted points for this week on 7.3, which is a surprise just due to Everton's form. Spurs have looked better. Obviously, we've got to score goals, but like Son's on the flank, he's had 1 pop-off game last week, or the week before, sorry, and then he's blanked in basically his 5 games on the flank so far. 4 planks, 1 haul. So it's for me, that's absolutely not captaincy material.
No.
So
and Richarlison definitely, again, a player we spoke about last week as being a good potential option because he's going to be playing out of position, and the way Spurs are playing, he actually looks fit again now, and 3 goals in 2 games looks like a good option when Son goes to the Asia Cup, because we're going to be looking for players to fill the void left by Salah and Son. So yeah, definitely interesting. All right, shall I bring up our teams and perhaps we can just talk about our thoughts and also mix in a bit of captaincy chit chat as well?
Yeah.
I'll bring up your team first if you like. So at the moment, you've got the captaincy, the armband wrapped round Watkins's bulging bicep, haven't you?
Yes. So as we've sort of discussed with Watkins anyway, like he is the 3rd highest predicted score of 5.9 this week, but as we just talked about with Son, we think that's a difficult fixture, even though Son is at top. So I think Son is out for me. Salah, we've talked about as being, we think it's going to be a tight game. Salah's numbers have sort of dropped off a little bit recently. First blank at home all season. Maybe that continues, obviously, in a really tough game. So, yeah, Watkins in my side seems like the logical choice of Sheffield United at home. The fixture is obviously really good. Sheffield United's defense is like the worst in the league at the moment still. So, and Villa, so good home form. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's, for most people, it seems like an absolute no-brainer, to be honest. Like I said, his double returns have not been huge, but if he gets a goal, 3 bonus, I'll be perfectly happy with that in this week. So yeah, it's on Watkins.
I think it's a really difficult one because of the history or the bias of captaining an Aston Villa player, and especially a striker. Even though Watkins is good, you still think it's hard to back a team from outside, tradition and what we know. But the fact that Villa have done so well this season and proved it over a number of weeks now, it does give you like a little bit more confidence. But yeah, I still look at Salah and just think like any game week I know he could pop off. Whereas Watkins, I kind of think any game week I know he could miss 2 big chances and
so spoiler, is yours on Salah?
No,
then, is it?
It's not. It is on Watkins at the minute, but I don't feel like I'm as comfortable with it as I'd like to be.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, so captaincy wise, Son, obviously, as I said, is the top one, but he's had 6.8 points per start. But yeah, he's had from game weeks 13 to 17, so his form is 12 shots, which is 14th of all mids. Big chances is 4, which is second, which is good, but says he's missing some. 1.71 xG, which is 10th. Key passes of 12, which is 10th. Big chances created 4, which is second, which is obviously good. But an XA of 1.53, which is 6th. But Kulusevski, his teammate, is actually beating him on all of the assist potential stats. Wow. And obviously his assist potential is the numbers that are higher compared to his XG. So what is he actually offering him? Because he isn't getting many penalties right now. If he can keep feeding Richarlison, then fantastic. I'm not confident in him on the flank. Never really have been. Preferred him through the middle. The rest of his hauls have been through the middle. So maybe Maddison is the one that sort of unlocks him when he's through the middle. But kind
of feel like that 17-point haul, like it was against a really tired Newcastle side. He absolutely mauled Trippier twice, and then got like a penalty when he was playing through the middle. He won it. So I agree with you really that I'm not confident on Son, and I hadn't been at the start of the season either. And he's definitely got some huge returns, which if I hadn't have got recently, I wouldn't be definitely not doing so well. But yeah, he doesn't fill me with enough confidence to give him the armband, that's for sure. No way.
Yeah. Okay, so on Salah, who's the second highest predicted scorer of 6.5 points, he's on 7.6 points average per start, which is obviously good. Blanked once at home all season, which was obviously last week, but he's had 9 returns at home and 1 blank. But obviously the con of captaining this week is Arsenal's XGC is 13.1 across the season, which is first. And then the game week 13 to 17, their XGC is 3.5, which is also first. He had an XG of 0.42 and an XA of 0.33 versus Man United. So probably unlucky to not get return. But he got 13 points the week before that against Palace, I think it was, or whoever it was, an XG of 0.33 and an XA of 0.18. So those numbers are all worse than the XG and the XA versus Man United, and he got 13 points. And he blanked against United. So so he can return from low XGI and stuff. So, but like we said, I think it's gonna be a slow or a low scoring game, and Arsenal could easily still get a clean sheet. So, game week 13-17, he's an XG of 1.88, which is 7th of all mids, which is actually behind McTominay, of all people, Almiron, Enzo Fernandez, Iwobi, Havertz. So all of those players are ahead of him in XG for the last 6 weeks. So
We
Yeah,
need.
not on Salah for me either.
Yeah.
Or even though he is the vice at the moment, maybe I should vice captain Son.
Oh
Just
god.
just because of penalties, possibly. But
Maybe QNTV in the chat says Trippier's a good captain this week, but and
yeah,
yeah,
he probably is. To be fair.
he might be right. Botman looks like he might be close to coming back to the team because he came off, didn't he, at the end? Or came
Mm.
on, sorry, at the end of last game, and I don't think Shah's injury is too bad. So yeah, he could come straight back in and be good. But I would say on the other side of that, Luton have been pretty good at home this season. Obviously scored against Liverpool, City, and Arsenal.
Yeah,
So
true.
I know Trippier is always can always get an attacking return. It would only just take like one attacking return for him to get bonus. But yeah, worth considering that you might not be able to rely on that clean sheet as well.
Yeah, so Watkins captaincy for me, and just on transfers
yeah.
wise, as you just said about Botman and stuff like that, like Robertson around the corner as well. So Lascelles and Simicast are issues in my team, which I'll eventually have to sort. Obviously, Alvarez will come back in next week, so that'll keep one of them or put one of them back to the bench, which will be fine. Obviously, I've still got Taylor, which is good, assuming he comes straight back in after his ban, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, the time being, I was possibly looking at Darwin to Solanke this week, just because Bournemouth look fine, and it's probably not too late to do that, just because I'm sick of him. But like I said, if Gakpo starts midweek, I might just keep him just so I can roll. And then yeah, future wise, Simicast, I'll probably be looking to get rid of before Lascelles because Shah is possibly a doubt still. Botman, yeah, it's still probably going to need more minutes than he's got so far to be able to start at least. So, yeah, Simicast is the one I'm looking at moving on next, other than Darwin.
I wouldn't be surprised if Botman got some. I know we won't find out yet, but got
minutes
some minutes tonight.
Yeah,
and then
true.
Maybe work up towards that, but. Yeah, interesting.
That would be annoying if Lascelles misses Luton away. That would be frustrating. But I got Taylor at Fulham away, which is not too bad. They'll probably concede a few, but
at least you've got someone.
At least I've got someone. Yes, true.
Yeah, I don't really know what to do with mine. I've just changed it over now. So at the moment, similar to you, I've got Watkins starting and captain. If Cash plays, I feel like that's good because I back them to keep a clean sheet, and he's still capable of getting a return. I got Saliba, Porro, Dubravka. Midfield, fairly similar, but I'm banking on Wang to get me some goals on Christmas Eve just to make Christmas Day a bit sweeter. But then up front, I've got Archer starting with Watkins, and I don't know. I've been considering if we hear anything about Haaland between now and the deadline, which is Thursday night, then I might do Haaland to Solanke for free and just play him over Archer.
Not to Darwin? Are you kidding?
Oh God, Kieran, no.
Yeah, no way.
And then I think. Oh yeah, sorry.
Who else is there? Maybe like
that's the
Jesus.
thing.
Like I don't even know.
He's away at Anfield. I don't know. It just feels like maybe I've missed the boat with it. But then at the same time, do I really want to play Archer this week? And if Haaland is out for a bit longer, am I going to play Archer next week at home? Well, he's actually got Luton at home next week. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence about what to do. Really, I'm in my mind. I kind of want to roll, but if I get a feeling that Haaland's going to be out longer than 19 and maybe not back until 20 or maybe even 21. Then maybe.
Yeah, Hoyland away to West Ham. He's not even scored a goal. Actually, just thinking about that, like they're generally like all the good strikers are midfielders, like Son, Richarlison, like Nkunku. I think he's a midfielder, right? Or is he a forward?
No,
he might actually be forward.
Okay. Forward.
Yeah, right. So yeah, Salah and yeah, it's the forward sort of choice is severely lacking, isn't it?
Low.
Even Hwang as well, like he's a midfielder, like even though he's like basically a forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But he's out of position. So yeah, I don't know. I might roll it just so I've got two for next because there's nothing really which is like critical. Like I don't think I'm going to get anything from Archer, but I know he's probably going to get me minimum 2 points, whereas Bell and Taylor might get one or less each. Don't think Luton will keep a clean sheet, and Newcastle could score 2 or more. So, it's a bit of a game week, really. But let's see how I feel. If I if I feel spicy, I might get rid of Haaland.
Yeah, it could be a low scoring week all round this week, to be honest.
Yeah, the team looks good for next week if I do nothing. with and then with 2 transfers on top of that seems quite nice. So yeah, I might go that route really.
Fair.
Cool. All right. We want any more we want to add, or should we really wrap up?
No, that'll do. I think we're good.
Perfect. Because we've got less than 48 hours now until the deadline.
Indeed.
So you think, well, very finally then, you're very unlikely to waver on Watkins captain?
Yeah, very unlikely. Yeah, okay. I think so. No. And then I think the next game week after that is like Boxing Day. Is that right? So
Boxing Day, yeah.
Who knows if we'll manage to get a show in before then? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we could do one at the weekend. I don't. Yeah, we'll update on our YouTube channel if we're going to do another show, but maybe it would be a very short one. But, yeah, that might be nice just to talk about the Boxing Day games. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll let you know when we're streaming again. And good luck for this game week, and have a Merry Christmas if you don't speak before.
Yeah. Cheers all. Merry Christmas.
Bye bye.